Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. To all my subscribers, I am very sorry I haven't posted a video in a couple days. I have been really busy and I do apologize about that. So today I'd like to talk to you about translucent PETG filament, and I have three different colors from three different manufacturers. I have this green from Creality, a orange from Bambu Lab, and this red from FlashForge. And I've been doing a project for my best friend. We're both sci-fi people, and he wanted a print called a ZPM from a show called Stargate Atlantis, if y'all have ever heard of it. But it's by far the biggest project I've undertaken. You can definitely see some stuff over here, and I got a couple of the goodies I'm going to give you up close and personal of. But I'm going to let you know my experiences with the filament, and I would like some feedback from y'all, whether I'm doing this right, what can I improve. But let's check it out. So let's start with the Bambu Lab Orange. As you can see, I most certainly use the most of this filament, because you can actually see here on the cardboard spool that it's the cardboard spool, so it's not too far from being gone. So a quick side note, anybody has an idea what I can do with the little bit that's left, I'd like to know. I definitely don't want it to go to waste. But as you can see here, I've left the supports intact. My best friend actually wants to take this all apart and put it together and have kind of the best experience he can with it. So I've left it on as best I can. I do use the Bambu Lab dedicated support material, so some of it actually fell off when I was taking it off the build plate. But as we can get kind of in depth here, it came out pretty clean. There's not much as far as layer lines. And looking at the top here, I'm not too sure if I chose the correct layer design. I'm not too sure what it is actually called, but it actually looked pretty clean all the way around. If we go here on this one, there's actually, I would say, a decent amount of stringing, but it actually came out pretty nice. Outside of the stringing, pretty clean. And it's actually pretty strong. It doesn't really flex all that much. Even here at the graded parts, it doesn't really flex all that much. So that came out pretty nice. So on to the next. Now we got the FlashForge Ruby Red, and when you're looking at it from the spool, it actually looks really pretty, really nice. I really like the way it looks sitting in the spool, and the spool itself, it actually comes with, is pretty nice. And onto the print itself, after it printed, it came out a lot darker than what I thought it was going to, but it actually came out really clean. I didn't have any issues with this except for a couple things that I will show you. But all in all, pretty clean base. I don't see any defects with it, but I thought it would be a lot more transparent than what it is. But let me get you a couple things to take a look at, and we'll go from there. Now, taking a look at this, it's actually a replica of this piece. However, I hope the camera can get it. It looks like it. But this had weird defects all throughout the print. Whatever these bubbles were, or I have no idea what happened with that. So I ended up reprinting it, and it came out like this. And all I did was reprint it. So I'm not too sure why I had this one look like this. Oh, I'm trying to get it here. Hopefully you guys can see that on the camera, but that just looked horrible. And this one came out, looked really clean. Now, another thing is with this particular piece, as you can see here, there's supports through it, and this would have been nice. The support material was on the top of where this is. However, the bottom of the tree supports were just PETG on PETG. And I already know that trying to remove all that would be pretty bad. It would be stuck. It'd be a lot of scarring. So I actually had to reprint that. And this is the reprinted one. Now, one trick I did learn is when I did this one, it was laying on its side and actually printed like that using the auto orientate feature in Bambu Studio. However, I wanted to do my best to print it vertically, but in Bambu Studio, after you hit auto orientate, it only lays down in one direction that I think is the best. And if you don't like it, you can click auto orientate again. All you want, is just not going to move. So there is another trick in Bambu Studio called lay on face, where you can literally select the piece you wanted to. So I'll insert some footage, but there's several of these that actually printed much like this. So just thought I'd note that. Hopefully you guys can dig that. So now we're on to the Creality transparent green, and looking at it from the spool, in my eyes, it doesn't actually look like that good to me. However, after it printed, it looked a lot better, which is ironically different from the FlashForge. Sitting in the spool, the ruby red looked really, really nice, and after it printed, it was more like a dark red. After this, I'm going to show you a transparency test with a flashlight and some of the parts, and you can clearly see light through all of them. So I don't know if that's the way it's supposed to be, or if that's something I did. But taking a look at this, one of the parts came out really clean all the way around, no defects, and it just printed so nicely. And this has a little bit of that same kind of bubbly effect, you could probably tell on here, but the actual crystal looking part is clean. And when this is all assembled, this will just sit in and you wouldn't even notice. So I didn't bother reprinting that. Now that being said, going back to what I was just saying about auto orientate, I had to use the lay on face feature again to get it to print at a unusual angle, which might be why it has the defects in it. But using the auto orientate feature, it printed on its side on this one, sorry. And this definitely did not stick. Now, as to why, when it printed, this little thin piece was actually off the build plate, and it was built on support, which was primarily as a support interface was the Bambu Lab dedicated PLA PETG support, and it did not stick and lift, which is actually what it's supposed to do. So that was really a learning curve for me, that you probably shouldn't print something like that when it had that long of a base. So this one actually did warp and didn't come out so good. But ironically, that's the only failure I had with that. And so there we go. On to the next. Now we're going to get into the transparency test, and I am going to show you using this flashlight how much light is getting through all these different colors. And we'll start with the orange, and that's definitely pretty bright. I hope the camera's getting it, but it actually is pretty bright all the way around. Now for the red, I want to go where the thick part is, but hopefully you guys are seeing that. So I'm definitely seeing a lot of red come through. And go to the thinner part, and you can definitely see a lot more light coming through on that. Now, I don't know if the camera's really doing a good job of picking it up, but I can definitely see quite a bit, much more of a glow than it is a piercing light coming through it. Now let's go to the green. And this one is actually a lot brighter, and it looks like the camera's getting in pretty good, but this one actually is really transparent. And this just looks really nice. Now, I used the exact same kind of settings while I was printing this, which is basically I had a high temperature of about 265 at the nozzle, 0 infill, and 2 walls. And the red just, to me, isn't as transparent as, you know, the green. And definitely the orange. The orange is by far from Bambu Lab is the most transparent to the eye, but this Creality is actually really good. I mean, it looks really, really nice. With the FlashForge, I mean, it looks really nice on the spool, and you can actually see some transparency through it, but I don't know. And here's another part for comparison. Yeah, that actually does pretty nice. But another one, you guys let me know down in the comments. Is that as transparent as that should be? Or did I need to print this differently? back to the tabletop view, y'all. All right, so I am going to go ahead and apologize. I'm sure some of you would have already liked to seen this together with the lights. It's going to have lights on the inside, so of course that's why it's transparent. And I really wish that was the case. However, unfortunately, who this project is for, my best friend, he lost his grandmother last week, and he's been unfortunately preoccupied with all that goes involved with that, and he just hasn't had the time to be able to put this together. But I wanted to get a video out for you all, so I do apologize that it's not working. However, I do put out a lot of YouTube shorts, a lot of time lapses, as well as some completed projects, and I do have a TikTok as well. It's at Freedom 3D Prints, and I basically release the same time-lapse videos. If you'd like to go check it out, give me a follow, give me a like, I would really appreciate that. Now, what I have here is a couple boxes that my friend did donate to the channel for testing of other transparent PETG that I have not had a chance to test, nor do I even know who this is. We have a blue purple from this IEMAI. I'm not too sure how you would even pronounce that. Looking at some of the pictures, it actually looked pretty cool. And then we have from Strong Hero 3D, we have a gradient blue purple as well. It says blue gradient from Strong Hero 3D. Get you guys a close up of that. And I have never actually heard of these two brands. These came from Amazon. I looked it up myself. They actually had a lot of decent reviews. So if anybody has any ideas what I can print that's pretty cool with transparent PETG, I actually still have several spools from Bambu Lab, as well as some voxel, and I got these. And speaking of voxel, I am most certainly give them another effort. I'm trying to print a basket, and I got some air AC going on here, so if you actually hear some background noise, I do apologize. That's some air AC, but I got my windows open, and I'm going to do my best to get some quality voxel prints, because I got a lot of it, and I would like to give it a fair chance, because I'm pretty sure heat creep is what got me on my voxel PLA review. So there will be an updated review in the pipeline. So if you like what you see, please like, share, subscribe. I'm on the road to 100 subscribers, and I'd like to keep on going. So please give me that like, give me that thumbs up, and please share it with everybody you know. And I have been told that my videos could not be all that riveting, so I will definitely work on that. Now, a side note, I had to have a cry alert because I would have got it to a different video for the same friend. I was doing a Star Trek Warp Core from the Next Generation, and that was really cool. That actually came out really nice. Unfortunately, I did not capture any of the time-lapse footage from that whatsoever. When you're doing a print in Bambu Studio and you send it to the printer, there is this nice little option, and I'll show you, that's called time-lapse with on or off. You make sure you have that on. And ironically, when it came to this project as well, I had a second cry alert. I took the first half of all the time lapses and made a bunch of YouTube shorts, and then I accidentally deleted them. So I got some more time lapses of some of the parts, but not some of the bigger parts, like this and like the actual base. So oops, my bad. But anyway, thank you for watching, and remember, freedom isn't free. God bless. Have a great day.